you just got to believe that you can do it, whether you're lying to yourself or not. You have to find a way to believe. I mean, there's a guy in MLB, a quote that I'm sure you might have seen too. Well, if dinosaurs believe in me, or if I believe in dinosaurs, dinosaurs believe in me, so that means I'll get a hit today or something like that, or along those lines. But it's just an example of how people will make up whatever they need to just believe in themselves.
Welcome to today's episode of the Grind Road to Success podcast, the place to be if you want to learn how to set yourself apart from the competition and reach your highest potential. I'm your host, Zach Krisick, and if you haven't already yet, hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on another podcast episode and the many tips, tricks, and strategies that can help you reach your highest potential. Without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of the Grind Road to Success podcast. If you enjoy this episode, then be sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button below so you never miss out on another episode. Now, today we are sitting down with a Division I baseball player and high-performance athlete, Carter Beck. Carter is originally from Carnduff, Saskatchewan, where he had dreams to compete at the highest levels. Currently playing for Indiana State University and the Saskatoon Berries in the WCBL in the Summer League, Carter has carved a name for himself with first-team all-conference honors and two-time 5K Player of the Year. So, welcome to the Grind Road to Success, Carter.
Good to be here. Yeah, thank you.
So, I'm curious, Carter, tell us a bit about your story and when did the dream of becoming a professional baseball player, college baseball player come from?
I don't think any professional or college side of thing really came true to me until I was probably 15, 16. I mean, until then it was all like a dream being a small town kid. It always grew up. I mean, I'm pretty sure I started out being dreaming I was going to play in the NHL, and then started dreaming I was going to play baseball. And then once I got 15, 16, I started seeing how I was doing and things were going well. And I thought, wow, this dream might be able to come true. And I ended up going to college, and I've kept moving my way up. So now I'm playing Division I baseball, and it's really cool.
I'm curious, what was your mentality like coming from a small town and reaching those higher and higher levels, getting to a bigger city, higher levels of competition? Just curious what the mentality was like from where you started to where you're competing now.
I mean, for me, it's always kind of been the same. Just go out and compete and do the absolute best I got. I got nothing to lose. I'm coming from Cardiff. Nobody else from Cardiff's ever played Division I baseball, so I got nothing to leave behind, and just to go out and show that things are possible. That's kind of been my biggest thing is like I want to be the best, even though I'm from nowhere and had like not a lot growing up compared to people in the bigger cities and stuff like that. Us small town kids can still go out and compete with the highest levels and work our way up.
So, along your journey, what were some of the biggest challenges and setbacks that you faced personally? And what's one piece of advice for another athlete listening to this to manage a lot of those changes, the challenges, and failure that we face along the career as a high level athlete?
Yeah, I mean, for me, some of the challenges weren't even like in my sport technically. They were like, I know when I was in high school, my biggest challenges was for a bit, am I going to play hockey or baseball? Like picking what sport I wanted to try and do after high school. And once I figured that out, it's like then you're still thinking, oh, but what if, what if, what if? But once you get your mindset to it, that's good. And then the next big part that I found was like hard for me was picking your school you're going to go to because you know so little being recruited out of high school, especially being from where I was from and not really knowing much about college baseball at all. So trying to make the right decisions there, that part was really difficult for me, and ended up going with the Division II school, University of Mary, and things worked out. But yeah, that part was a big challenge. And then the biggest setback I've had was my first year at University of Mary in the fall. It was our first fall scrimmage game. We were playing Minot State, and it was a real rainy day, and I slid into third base in the second game, and I split my fib and tibia apart, so I had to go get surgery on that, and that kept me out for the whole fall of my first year of college baseball, and like, who knows what was going to happen. I mean, I was living in a different place, all new people, and things ended up working out well, and I got back just to being able to sprint like the day before our first game and was able to get out there and play and put together a really good freshman season. But that was the biggest setback I think I've had in my career as a player. Just missing out on those 3 months of being able to train, grind, get better. And it also gave me a lot of time to reflect, like, oh, I like really do like baseball now that I can't do anything. Like, this is crazy, like not being able to do anything, you know. So I think it was good in a way too to like put things in perspective, but it was tough to get through for sure.
I'm curious, where did you go mentally in those moments, especially when facing injury? Because that's something that all athletes can relate to at one point or another throughout their career. But how do you manage that? Because it can be a very dark place, right? Where, hey, this might be the end of my career, or I don't know how to get through this. I just want to be on the field, the court with my teammates. How are you able to bounce back from an injury like that to succeed and come back stronger than ever?
Yeah, and I mean for me anyways, it was part of like just belief. Like I never let it creep into my mind for a second that I wasn't going to be back playing baseball in the season again. Like I was doing the math because I got hurt pretty early, and I think it was September or right at the end of September, early October. So I still had like 4 or 5 months till season. So in my head, there was no chance I wasn't back. And then I talked to the doctors and whatever, and it was about a 3 month recovery time. Like in my head, oh, that's perfect. I'll be back just in time. So it was just the belief that it was never gonna let it affect me. I mean, I still got some mental blocks from it. Like I haven't slid into a base with that foot forward since. But on the coming back side, it was just yeah. The biggest thing for me was belief, and then I had lots of people around too who also believed in me and like helped me work along the way, like my family and friends at school. And just using that time also when my leg was hurt. I mean, I used the time to work out my upper body all the time. Like I think my bench press jumped like 50 pounds that time, just doing stuff to keep my mind off of thinking that I'm really stuck. And I also had a knee scooter, so I could still get around all the time, and like it made things feel like it wasn't the end of the world. I'd still go to practices, just hang out around with the guys. I was doing one leg swings on a knee sometimes, just anything to make me feel like I'm still part of the team, because that's what college sports has, is such a team community, and just being able to be a part of that team still, even though I was hurt, was really nice. Helped me a lot.
For sure, and that's one thing I can relate to as a college baseball player myself, formerly, is how do you navigate those challenges? Injuries, they're going to happen. How are you able to bounce back? And having that strong mentality, which is one thing that we talk about here at the Grind Performance, is the mental side of the game and how important that is. You mentioned the importance of belief. Now, I want to ask you, Carter, how important is belief in one's ability to sustain that confidence, build that confidence, and be able to go the distance where we're going to face a lot of challenges along the journey, setbacks, rejections, failures, especially in a game like baseball where they say it's a game of failure. So,
Yeah.
how are you able to navigate that? And again, how important is the belief aspect to succeed as an athlete?
I mean, it's probably the most important thing in baseball, especially. You just got to believe that you can do it, whether you're lying to yourself or not. You have to find a way to believe. I mean, I forget who said it, but there's a guy in MLB, a quote that I'm sure you might have seen too. Well, if dinosaurs believe in me, or if I believe in dinosaurs, dinosaurs believe in me. So that means I'll get a hit today, or something like that, along those lines. But it's just an example of how people will make up whatever they need to just believe in themselves, and just finding ways to believe in yourself, knowing because you're gonna go 0 for 4, like going 0 for 4, and then coming back the next day and going 2 for 4. That's 2 for 8. You get one more hit in your next two at bats, you're hitting 300 again, right? Just believe in yourself that you're gonna get the next opportunity, and always trusting what you've put in and knowing that like it will come to you. And one thing that helps my belief a lot is I feel like if you do the small things right, like the baseball gods will reward you, right? Like you're gonna get, you keep doing things right, you keep doing things hard, you keep playing the game right, things will reward you, whether it's a fluky hit or something lucky bounce just to get you back going. I think it's true for all sports. If you keep working hard and doing everything the right way, the game will reward you in ways, and that helps you. That helps your belief when you see those things happen, and it's like, thank you, I needed that. Just kind of the funny way sports works in that aspect.
So, how important is the mental side of the game for any athlete, but someone like yourself competing at that high level? Is the mental game something you bought into when you were younger or started to realize how important it was throughout your career?
Yeah, so like for me, I didn't realize how important the mental game was like later in when I was like starting 17, 18. But what I did realize is I've always kind of done my own mental stuff. I haven't called it mental training, mental whatever, but I've always done something to help my mental game, and that's kind of part of the reason I think I've had so much success is whether I realize it or not, I'm still always doing the little mental things that seems like common sense to me, but if you talk around, there's a lot of people who actually don't do it. Like it's not so, or people that have to learn it or the ability to learn it. It's something I think I've kind of always done, whether it's breaths from day one, um, imagery. I've been big on imagery all the time, like imagining going up to the plate and hitting a ball where I want to hit a ball. Just things like that that I've always kind of done that I didn't really realize was mental training until I got older, and I think I've improved on those skills. And the better your mental strength and training is, like the better off you're going to be because on top of that, being able to see yourself hit three line drives or hit a bunch of times before you even get in when you're struggling, you need that feeling because sometimes you forget what it's like to get a hit. So you need to imagine it, imagine it, and then sure enough, it'll come true at some point. And it can also help you from getting so down into a slump. Like it's one swing away, one swing away. That's one thing I've always been big on. If you're 0 for 4 in a game, 4 bad at bats, you're one swing away from being 1 for 5 with a home run. It's not a great day, but that's not a bad day. Like always thinking that it's one swing away, but at the same time, not letting it just get to one swing away, one swing away. This at bat doesn't matter. It's kind of that balance, you know what I mean? And those are kind of some of the things that I've always helped me. And you can really see it at the college level for the guys who have been through stuff like that and are able to control their mind basically. Because there'll be a lot of guys in college baseball when it's their first season, they'll start off really good for the first 30 games, and you get to the dog days of where it's like games 30 to 45 or 40 to 50, and then they start struggling, and they just round until they can't even hit anymore. They're so in their head. It's just you got to be able to find a way, keep your head strong, and trust the process that things will go right.
And to add on to your point right there, I like to say the power of one. Like you're mentioning, whether it's one at bat, one more rep, one more swing, one more throw, just one more play, which can shift momentum greatly, especially when you're in a slump, things aren't going the way you want, like you're kind of mentioning, is how can you just get one win, a small win to get back on track and keep moving forward throughout the game, throughout the season to get the success you want. But I want to dive a bit deeper into what you mentioned with some of the mental imagery and strategies you use, which, like you kind of mentioned throughout your career, is you didn't even know you were doing it for an extent, but it's allowed you to have that confidence, find more success in your game. So, what's your pre-game routine and preparation like? So, when you step on the field, you are fully confident, you're focused, and you can perform at your highest potential.
So for me, my pregame routine relies a lot on my warm up, like before. So we have batting practice, whatever. My batting practice is pretty similar every day. Like my first round, I'm gonna try and hit backside line drives. My next round, I'm gonna try and hit hard low line drives around the field. And then my next two rounds, I'm just gonna try and hit them hard balls into the gap. And having that the same thing every day is something I can rely on to get me ready, and I can imagine. And one thing I like to do too is in my last round of BP on my last two swings, it's like, okay, 3-1 count or 2-0 count where I'm up in the count and imagine myself hitting like being ready where I need to do damage at the plate. And that's one thing that prepares me. And then go get your stuff on, and I get back out for warm up. And usually it's a bit of sitting, stretching, more so just to get your mind right, think about what you got to do in the game. And then the warm up is one thing I really rely on. And playing every day, I like to mix it up day to day because I don't want to get stuck in a routine so superstitious that if something happens, I can't play because something's wrong, right? So I like to keep it a little different, kind of listen to my body each day, and then usually finish my warm up thinking about what I need to do, like how my legs, how my body's feeling on that side of thing. And then when I'll really lock in for like my at bats is about 5-10 minutes a game before the game because I hit lead off or second usually. I'm right away. And as soon as I put my batting gloves on and my elbow guard and leg guard, it's imagining getting a hit, seeing what the pitcher is. If he's a lefty, usually I'll imagine hitting that slider that comes right down and pulling it out for a home run or something. Just imagine myself doing something with each pitch, what it's going to look like. And then usually sometimes too, because it's one thing I've been trying to work on is my base running side of things. I'll imagine stealing bases getting good reads and line drives. Anything that can happen in a baseball game, I want to try and imagine, so when it happens, it's not like a surprise. And the nice thing about imagery is that you can do a whole baseball game in like 10 minutes, right? Like, because you just go one to the next, bang, 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 bang. And I mean, as a baseball player and as say center fielder, you only got to worry about so many balls in the outfield. And same thing as a hitter, there's really only so many spots that pitch is going to come. So you can go through pretty much everything real quick in your head, and then it only takes 5 to 10 minutes, and you're that much more prepared. So it's kind of some of the things I like to do. Even in the on deck circle, I'll watch the pitcher, see what he's throwing, and then if I see he's going fastballs up, I'll imagine getting a fastball up and staying on top of it, not letting it get up and hitting a fly ball or something. Kind of just things like that on the imagery side of thing. It's one thing that's huge and you could really use to your advantage. It also, one more thing I guess I should add to that, it also helps when you do all this imagery work, is when you get to the plate, you don't have to think. You can just get in and go to work, right? Like, get ready to battle.
For sure. And I'm curious, what's your approach at the plate? Because that's lots of athletes, something they struggle with, or they don't have an approach at all. Where I get the question is, hey, what should my pregame routine be like? What should the in-game routine look like? But how important is an approach, especially for a baseball or a softball player listening to this?
Yeah, I mean, approach is going to be what makes you a great hitter and makes you a good hitter. There's a lot of good hitters out there who don't have approaches, and they're going to always be good hitters, but it's the next step to being great. It's something I've really been trying to work on. My approach needs a lot of work. It got better as this year, because once you get to that Division I level, approach makes that much more of a difference. You can't just go up there to hit, as sometimes you just want to do. So what I like to do, so lots of times I'll go lefties first, because it's the easiest approach in my mind, because I know what I'm getting. I'm getting curveballs and fastballs. I know most of them are going to try and throw curveballs in there for a strike early, because I'm a pretty big name hitter in this league, so I know I'm going to get curveballs. So what I like to do is go up there, and if I decide I'm going to sit curveball, that means I'm only hitting the curveball for the first two pitches. Like, strike one, if it's a fastball, oh well, good for you. Strike two, it's fastball. Oh well, here we go. 2 strikes, time's a battle up. But that means I was waiting for the curveball, right? And if I'm going fastball, this goes for lefties and righties. If I want to hit a fastball, which you should, until you get to high levels and know like off speed will be coming, you should always hit fastball in my mind. You should always try and hit a fastball right over. For me, I'm a lefty hitter, right over the shortstop's head. If you're a righty hitter, you should always try and hit it over the second baseman's head on the line drive. Hit it through their head. That way, it gives you the most time in the box to hit, because you can see the fastball all the way back to here, and you can catch the off speed out front more. This is super baseball talk, so so that's one thing I think is just understanding. And then when I face righties, so I see a ton of changeups because I'm a big lefty, and it's just what all the righties are throwing. It's being able to, like, when you're facing changeups, you have to be super locked in and understanding like pitch shapes, kind of, because a fastball and changeup are going to look very similar a lot of the time. So you got to understand where they're throwing it, so you don't chase that changeup. And one thing I learned too that's helped my approach a lot is it's okay to swing and miss when it's a changeup or a curveball and you don't know it. Like, so if you're on fastball and you think it's a fastball and you swing, you're better off to swing hard and swing and miss it by a foot than you are to try and chase and reach it and hit a soft fly ground ball for an out. Because you have 3 strikes to work with, right? So your first 2 strikes, you swing and miss. Oh well. That's one thing I've tried to work on, is when it's a bad pitch and I decide to swing, it's just like, I don't have to hit it just because I'm swinging, right? It gives, because I have another chance still. And then with 2 strikes, it's just battle out fastball. I'll maybe even move my fastball timing back to the third baseman so that I'm super late on a fastball, just enough that I can catch it, even if it's a foul ball, and it gives me more time to see off speed and fight it off. And then in my head, what I'm thinking the whole time is either like I'm on attack. Like, if I'm being too passive and getting late on baseballs and not like catching them out front where I want to hit them, I'll go attack, and that gets me ready to go and hit a ball hard. Or sometimes, like, if I'm feeling really good, it's just hunt, because that means I'm hunting for one pitch, one spot to hammer it. And then if things are struggling, sometimes it's just compete. In my head the whole time as the pitcher's coming set, compete. And then usually as he lets go, it's quiet and it's ready to go. But just one word phrases, just one word things, to keep me focused in on that at bat, and to like laser focus me into each pitch.
I love this. And we're diving more into the game IQ side of things, game strategy here. But while we're on the topic, especially for hitters playing baseball or softball, how important is your breath and breath work to staying calm, staying relaxed, and being quick to the baseball? And this can apply to if you're in the field as well. But again, how critical is that breath work piece and using your breath to stay locked in, stay focused, and stay calm?
Oh, it's huge because baseball's it's a sport where there's so many things going on, even though it might not seem like it. That's why after every pitch, you want to step out, take a big breath, just process that information that you just got from the last pitch to understand what's going to be coming next, and also to reset. So you took a bad swing, you need that breath to reset. You missed the pitch you wanted to hit, you need that breath to reset. Or it's a ball, but like it was a good take, you need that breath to reset. Like, oh yeah, you got this. That big breath in between is huge because it lets your mind calm down and then gets you back into that mode where you're ready to go again. And it's the same thing in the field. Like for every pitch, it's like lasering your focus in as that pitch is coming to the plate, so you can hopefully get the best jump and go catch a ball that's not supposed to be caught, right? And just helps you become a better defender. And you're gonna go up to the plate lots where you're feeling like you're shaking, right? Like completely shaking. I even knew it my first at bat back with the Berries this summer at home. I'm like, why am I so nervous? Like I have no reason to be feeling like this, but like I felt like my body was almost shaking. Um, just getting in there, and you're still gonna shake when you're in the box. Nobody's gonna know, but you're still gonna feel it. But that breath helps you like calm it down a little bit, makes it manageable. Um, and sometimes when it's like that, it's like two or three big breaths before you go. Just try and get yourself a little calmer because you're never gonna fully eliminate nerves. They're always gonna be there. It's just about controlling them so they're not controlling you. You know.
For sure. I'm curious, do you have any other strategies to control your nerves like you mentioned there? So that's one thing that all athletes can relate to, and even the professional athletes, I'm sure they still get nervous before those big game moments and being able to stay in control. But are there any other strategies, whether mental or physical, using your body to alleviate some of that stress and lock back in to gain control?
Yeah. Well, it's the breath for me, and then it's also like telling myself because usually when I stress out the most is when it's like feeling like I might not belong, I might not be bad or I'm not gonna let people down, kind of things like that. And it's just going back to the belief side of things, being like, come on, you're a good hitter, you've done this lots. Like this is just another at bat. Just relax. Like it's okay. It's another at bat. And if you like failure's okay, it might happen. Just relax, go out, put your best swing on it. Whatever happens, happens. There's no need to be so uptight and whatever. Just it's like I will go through this all in my head in like 8 seconds, being like, relax, Carter, you're a good hitter, you got this. Just positive self-talk into myself. And then it's to the point where it's like, okay, I gotta get back in the box, get ready to go, try because all those big at bats, you're always going to be a little nervous unless you're in a super hot streak. It's just trusting yourself, and I think positive self talk's one thing that's always really helped me, even in bad batting practice. Like your first round's terrible. It's like, okay, Carter, come on, here you go, focus up, get that line drive where you want it. Um, Whereas like I'm sure you spent a lot of time around a batting cage. It's real easy to go into the just dropping f bombs and being and getting real mad at what's going on. And I fall into the odd time, but the thing that helps me the most is when I'm able to just be like, okay, it's okay. You see what happened there? Like, get it this next one. Positive self talk the whole time. Like I heard Mookie Betts talk about it in his BP. He'll talk himself through his whole batting practice sometimes, especially on the days it's not good. Just being able to talk to yourself in a positive way. I think that's one thing that really helps me when I'm nervous. Is it's not like, oh, you need to get a hit or you suck. It's okay, you got this. You've done this lots. Trust yourself. This pitcher, you got this pitcher. Like you've seen him you've seen guys like this 1,000 times. There's no pressure. Like just go out, do what you do. And that's one thing that's helped me a lot.
And I believe that's so important, that self talk piece, like you're mentioning right there, because what we focus on, that's where energy is going to go to, right? If you focus on the negative and why you suck, why you're a failure, well, that's what you start to believe. But what I also like to say to a lot of the athletes I work with is you are not your thoughts, but you are your beliefs. Because we all have those negative thoughts. Hey, I might strike out. Hey, this pitcher is throwing super fast. It's not going to end well. But those don't necessarily help you, right? They're just thoughts. On the
Yeah.
flip side, though, is if you believe it, hey, I'm going to strike out. This is not going to be a good game. I'm a horrible hitter. Well, you're going to act in alignment with that. But having that self talk piece where you can refocus, you can lock back in, and really move forward. So that's one thing. All athletes, we're going to face challenges, adversity. But again, how do you respond to it? It's not about what happens, but it's about how you respond to it. If you get knocked down, are you going to get back up again and persist forward? Like we're kind of mentioning, talking about the game of baseball, for example, is it's a game of failure. The interesting stat that I always love to think about is a Hall of Famer in the MLB has a 300 average or over, give or take. And that means they fail and strike out or fly out 7 out of 10 times throughout their career. So that's an insane stat to think about, that you can be the best of the best, failing majority of the time. But again, like you said, it's having that consistency, that positivity to move forward. Now, I want to ask you, when you're in that low moment, you're in the slump, and you have that negative voice, it's growing louder and louder in your mind. What do you do to break that? To regain focus, lock back in, and reshift that positive self talk so you can move forward?
Yeah, so I had to go through quite the thing, and like this is for if there's any young kids listening who are gonna want to go play college baseball, you're gonna go through a slump. I didn't go through a slump in my like one time my first year, like I was like 14 years old, but it was like for a week, and it wasn't really that like, and then I figured it out. But my first real slump was when got to college baseball. I started the year off, I was like arguably one of the best hitters in Division Two. I was hitting like 450. I had like 6, 7 home runs, maybe even 9 home runs. I can't remember. It was ridiculous, anyways. And then I went and we played the best team in our conference. It was miserable weather. We got stomped, and I was like one. I think I was 1 for 17 or 1 for 19 on the weekend in a 4-game series. Like something just bad. And then my next few games, I ended up going on a. I think I was 2 for 32 was my slump, and that's something I'd never experienced before. And it was something I was really trying. I was trying anything and everything to get out of it. I didn't know what to do. Like it's first time going through it, and I still look back at it like I didn't really know what to do, and it never got a lot better. It just got a bit better, where I was like scraping by. I was going 1 for 4s. Like I ended up doing better and like started hitting good at the very end again. Um, but getting back was like a major grind that year, and then versus this year, I never really went through like a slump. I called it. I had a slow part of my season. I was like the middle probably 20 games was slow. Like that's what I called it. But I was able to this year versus the year before. My bad days were 1 for 5 or 1 for 4 with a walk or 0 for 3 with 2 walks. And that was something that really helped me, was being able to minimize my bad days. So it's like it gets frustrating, but at the same time, I go look at my average and it's still 270. Not very good, but it's 270 with like a 380 on base. Like it's not great. I know I can do a lot better, but and then just keep trusting the process, because one of these days I kept telling people on my team too, I'm like, look out, because one of these days I'm gonna get hot and I'm just not gonna miss a barrel for like 2 weeks. Like it'll be a barrel every single game. And sure enough, finally at the end of the year, I think it was like game 35. I think I looked at the scoreboard one time while I was in at bat, which drives me nuts that our averages are on the scoreboard because I don't like seeing that bad, but it is. Um, I seen it was like 268. I'm like, there's no way. And sure enough, that game I went like 2 for 4, 3 for 4, whatever. Had a good game, and from there on, it just kept climbing until the end of the year when I ended at 335. But there it was, my last 20 games, I was hot. I hit well. And it was just trusting that like a matter of time, you will be hot. Just keep grinding through, keep putting up good at bats. So your bad days are 1 for 5 or 0 for 3 with 2 walks or 0 for 3 with a sac fly and a walk. Minimizing your bad days is what's going to make you good in baseball, because there's going to be a lot of bad days. So the other night in Regina, I think I was 2 for 4. Might have been 3 for 4. Depends if they gave me a hit. But I easily could have been 0 for 6 with the way I was swinging it. But I had a sac bunt, a sac fly, and 2 infield singles that I ran hard, or 1 broken bat single and infield single, and then the third one might have been another infield single, just because like running hard, using your other abilities of the game to help you still compete. And that's one thing that really helped me, is when I was struggling at the plate. I could trust my defense this year at school. Like, oh, I was. I know my joke after a bad hitting game is I was a defensive specialist today. um, but yeah, just like that's the biggest thing I learned from my first year to my second year is being able to minimize your bad days so that they're not 0 for 5, 0 for 6, because those hurt a ton. But 1 for 5, it's not that bad. Like in the scheme of things, it's still 200. Like that's a lot easier to climb back from 0, right? Um, but that's the biggest thing I learned. And then it's just trusting the process. And I like what Pete Rose said too is never let anyone tell you you're in a slump. You just, nah, it's slow right now, but I'm not in a slump. Like you don't want to believe you're in a slump because I'm big on self-fulfilling prophecies. Like you keep saying it, that's what's going to happen. And I'm sure you know lots about that, but that's what I love to tell people. Like what you say is what's going to happen. Like it's just how it's going to go.
100%. I agree with you fully there. And like you said, that self-fulfilling prophecy. What you believe, you're going to act in alignment with that. And that's what's going to come true at the end of the day. How you talk to yourself, what you think about every single day, every single week. But having that focus, like you mentioned, and the words you use are very, very powerful. The difference between I can and I can't. There's
Yeah.
only one letter in there, but that can change everything, right? So how you're able to stay positive, put yourself in the best position for success compared to limiting yourself. And that's the big piece with the mental side of the game is we're often our own worst enemy. It's not your competition, it's not your teammates, it's often you, right? Where you sabotage yourself in those moments. You've succeeded before, but you're playing against a new team, bigger competition, you're traveling across North America, playing bigger teams, and you think, oh, okay, now I'm the small fish in the big pond, right?
Yeah.
And I like what you mentioned there about the process, because that's one thing that we talk about, and that's what the grind exemplifies is the process, that journey of showing up every single day, putting in the work, stacking those small wins. Like you mentioned, is getting a couple hits, building that momentum back, and stacking those small wins where you can build that confidence. Because as we understand, being college athletes ourselves, performing at that high level, talking with other athletes, coaches, individuals, realizing that big changes are not going to happen overnight, right? You're not just going to become confident one day. You're not just going to become a pro hitter the next day, but it's the process of showing up every single day, the power of one again, one more rep, one more swing. Okay, how is that swing? Can we gain feedback on it? What do we need to adjust, adapt, and move forward? But one thing I wanted to go back in our conversation, because I remember you talked about the difference of great and good, or great and average. What have you noticed competing at the Division 1 level about unbelievable and great athletes compared to average athletes? And one thing with that, just add on, is at the highest levels of competition, the physical side of the game is the bare minimum because every ball player can throw decently hard. They can run decently well, of course, depending on your position. They can hit the ball well, otherwise, they wouldn't be there. So, what really separates those top athletes, even at the MLB level, compared to the average, whether it's in collegiate level again or just average professional players?
Yeah, I mean, to add to that, one thing you're gonna find out too for people is once you get to like Division 1 level, everyone works hard. Like you're not really gonna outwork people, really. Like the thing that the best players do is they're smart about their hard work. Like, don't get me wrong, they work their asses off. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that, but uh, they're smart about their work. It's not over like because some people get stuck in the so hard work that they overwork their like bodies, right? Like you need to be smart about it. You can't be taking 1,000 swings a day because that's not going to help you, right? It's like taking 100 quality swings, or even if it's 50, but they're all quality swings. It's not just mass reps; it's quality, right? Like we do around at school. Like I'm to a point in my life where batting practice rounds are like 5 swings, because after 5 swings, my body's starting to get tired, and like it's not the same swing. If I can do 5 line drives, even if I can do like my last round of the day in BP was always we always had feel good rounds at the end of BP, and the hope is to be one swing, right? 1 line drive, get out, be done. And that's the one thing you realize about the guys who are really good. They take every single rep as if it's like super important. So every single swing they have is with full intent of trying to hit exactly what they're trying to do. And the really good guys in baseball, especially when they're hitting, they can pretty much tell you where they're going to hit it and they can go hit it there. And any swing, right? They might have to take a couple pitches to get a pitch where they want to hit it there. But that's the thing that makes the players really good is they go to a point where they feel good, and then like that's good. They don't need to feel like, because once you feel good, you're just gonna start digging yourself a hole if you keep going. Like you got to know when to stop. You know what I'm kind of trying to say here?
Mm-hmm.
And just like taking each rep as it means the most is what makes guys really good, because you see it in batting practice especially. You see it when people are taking batting practice, and you see it in the field because you get tons of options for live reads there, and you see a lot of guys who just like lollygag their reads or like working. So for me, when I'm in the field during batting practice, the biggest thing I'm working on is first step. I don't care if if I take my first 3 hard steps and it's a perfect route, who cares if I get to it? I just want to work on that first step because that's what's going to make me better. And then in batting practice, the same thing. If we have rounds on the paper, which we usually have rounds like for our batting practice each day of what the coaches want us to do, if I can't do that at like at least 70, 80%, maybe 60% success rate, I'll be pretty upset with myself because it's like I obviously wasn't locked in enough. To do it at 100% rate, you're never really going to do. But at a 60% rate where I'm at, I should be able to do it, right? So it's just being able to be locked in for that is something that I think really helps. And it's what made me better a lot, is just realizing like, oh, my first 2 rounds off this machine were really bad, but by the 3rd round, it's good because I learned, right? I got better off the machine and I stuck with it. I didn't just give up. And you can see a lot of guys do that when things get hard. They go 1-2. Oh, I sucked after the first 2 rounds. It's not going to get any better, right? It's just trusting that you will get better and taking each rep as a learning opportunity to make sure you're doing it at your best.
Now, there was one word that resonated and really stood out to me, encapsulating that whole topic and conversation, and that was intent, intention. Why do you do what you do? What is your purpose? Because this can be a big factor that determines your success. Are you just showing up to practice to just be there and do the bare minimum? Well, you're going to get bare minimum results. Or are you there to have intention? Like you said, whether it's 5 swings in batting practice, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. This is what I'm going to achieve. This is where I want to hit the ball. Okay, if I don't, what do I learn? What's the feedback? How do I adapt? Make that quick adjustment, and you go back out there. But that's the big piece, is having something I call leverage, where when you work hard and you work smart, when those two mesh together, that's where you get the best results. And in that example, like you kind of just mentioned, is you don't have to take 100 reps or 100 swings to get better. You can take 5, 10 really, really good reps and then reflect. Hey, what felt good? How did my body feel? Was my load a little too late? And being able to make those adjustments. That's another big thing I realized competing at that collegiate level as well, is the most successful players were able to make those adjustments play to play, pitch to pitch, inning to inning, compared to a lot of athletes where they take a game to adjust, a game to adapt, sometimes weeks, sometimes a month. And if you can't make those adjustments, this is one thing that one of my college coaches told me. He said, Zach, is if you can't make those adjustments, you're never going to succeed at the highest levels. And that lit a fire under me. It was kind of the criticism piece, or, the feedback of, okay, this is what I need to improve on. I need to learn. I need to make these adjustments quicker and quicker. So there's other athletes out there who are making those adjustments quick. They're putting in more work than you. And that was one thing that one of my mentors mentioned to me when I was young. At a very young age, when I was 12 years old, starting to get into the gym, starting to become passionate about being a successful athlete and reaching those higher levels, he said, Zach, there's another athlete out there, you don't know who they are, but they're investing all their time, money, and energy to take your position and beat you. Are you going to let that happen? And in my mind, I'm like, heck no. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to put in more work than you. But like you said, there is the smart work, the intention piece. What are you trying to achieve? So next time, for anyone who's listening to this, when you go into your next practice, your game, write down what you want to achieve. What's the goal? It doesn't have to be a big goal of, I'm going to hit a bunch of home runs. It might be, I want to feel more comfortable in my swing. I want to get one hit today. I want to rebound and lock back in when things start going south. Little adjustments like that. Now, I want to flip quickly to the emotion side of things because ball is a very emotional game.
Hmm.
All sports are. How do you handle those tough emotions where things aren't going your way? You guys are getting killed on the field. How do you lock back in? How do you stay focused? And how do you manage, again, the frustration, the anger, or on the flip side, the sadness, the shame, the guilt, and fear? How do you navigate that situation at the level you're at?
Yeah, so I think there's like two sides of frustration on the ball field. Really, there's three probably. There's a frustration when you're not doing bad, the frustration when calls aren't going your way, and the frustration when your team's doing bad. I'd say is like the three main things you can get frustrated with. The thing for umpires that's really helped me is like at the end of the day, you can't control it, so it's kind of on you to let yourself, like if it's a strikeout on a bad call, it's kind of on you to let it get to that point. Like you had two strikes before to hit, and you know he's been calling it. You can't get mad at it because, like, yeah, it's a bad call. Yeah, it's a ball, but it's been calling that, or you miss your first two pitches. Like, really, it's kind of on you still. Just realizing those kind of things, or it's a bad call at first base, and you should have been safe, but you were out. It's kind of back what I said earlier is trusting that the baseball gods will get you back eventually. Like you're gonna get something back. It all evens out eventually. So trusting those kind of things, and I mean, not getting super frustrated with the umps because you're never going to change their opinion, no matter how bad it is. Like it is what it is, right? And just move on. There's no point dwelling on that. And then when your team's doing bad, that's for me, that's the hardest part to not get frustrated is when my team's doing bad. You can't get mad at guys because they're already frustrated at themselves because they're not doing good. So you just got to try and bring guys together to keep pushing forward instead of and constructive criticism at times, but you don't want to just put guys down because people are already down when things are going bad usually, right? So it's working together, if you're down 10 runs, trying to get 2 runs back, right? And then 2 again. It's just working on that step by step. And say you lose 10-6, but you scored 6 unanswered in 7, 8, 9. That's momentum into the next day, right? It's just trying to work back, never getting frustrated at your teammates. You can be upset with them, but never getting like mad at them because you want to be able to still talk out. Like me and my right fielder last night in Regina had a miscommunication where he came over as more of kind of a right center gap ball. I could have probably caught it, but I heard him call it early, so I was going to let him take it, and then I heard him go, "Oh shit," and I go, "Uh-oh." So I reach out and try and catch it, and it drops, but it's not getting mad at him. It's honestly my fault. I'm the center fielder. I should have just called you off when I knew I could get it, but I left him to do it, and I can't get super mad at him for calling it because at the end of the day, that's kind of on me. I'm not going to get it, right? So just never getting mad at your teammates. You can be frustrated with, but like you just got to be able to work out and have civil conversations to get better for everybody. And then on your own side of things, when you get frustrated at yourself, it all comes back to the belief, and like you can get mad at yourself, but you got to wipe that for third. Like you get what after your at bat, you have till either your next at bat if it's a long inning, or till you run back out on the field, play your catch in the outfield. Once I throw that ball back in, that bat's over. There's no point in being more frustrated about it because you can't go back and change it as much as you wish you could. So it's time to move on. That's kind of my thing. And I know sometimes being the center fielder, getting play catch before, if I have a bad at bat where I'm really frustrated, I'll get the ball back on my last throw in. It's as hard as I possibly can, and I say I'm throwing my anger away. I know I've watched infielders, catchers do it lots because they get to do it every inning. But that's one thing I like to do if I'm really mad. I'll just throw my anger away, is what I say, and then it's gone. It's time to move on.
And I love that. How you can manage and control your emotions in different ways. And everyone's different. Like you said, you have your technique, your routines that you utilize. But that leads into the controllables. What can you control? Like you mentioned, is we can't control the umpires, what they called. Sometimes it's a horrible call, but that's already in the past. You can't change it. We got to find a way to move on, stay in that present moment. And same thing with the team aspect, like you mentioned. The way I like to think about it is a team is often like a bag of apples. Now, what I mean is just like apples, one rotten apple is going to spread and it can destroy the entire team. Someone who's negative, blaming other people. And we've all been there. Whoever's listening to this, we can relate where we've been the one who's been frustrated. And when you have teammates adding on to that, right, even just the support sometimes can be the one thing that throws you over the edge, right? So, how do you manage that? Team communication is a big aspect. And if you don't operate as one unit, things are going to fall apart. Whether it's early in the season, whether it's championship time, playoff time, that's going to be detrimental to your success. But at the same time, all it takes is one player to change everything. Sometimes it's one coach, one player that's able to light that fire in the team, being able to bring that motivation, that energy to propel forward. Even if you guys are getting crushed and losing, how do we rebound? And in the game of baseball or softball, the game can change in a matter of minutes. In one inning, it can completely change. So, like you said, having that belief, that persistence to keep showing up every single at bat, every single play. Am I ready? Am I locked in? But the one thing that I really, really like about your mindset, Carter, is the ability to take personal responsibility. Like you said, at the plate, hey, struck out is a bad call. But I let myself get to this situation where I'm already 0-2, or it's a full count. That's on me. What can I control? Same thing, like you mentioned with your experience in the outfield there, is hey, maybe I could have called it a bit earlier or called him off, right? That communication piece, which it gets hectic when the ball's in the air, you can't really see each other. But I just really like that responsibility piece where instead of pointing fingers, I like to say is you're giving your energy away, right? You're giving your energy away to the umpire, to the fans, to the other teammates. You're losing that. So I always say, point the finger at yourself. And this isn't something to be negative, right? Where everything's my fault, I suck, I'm a loser. No, saying, hey, I'm in control. I'm in control and I can make a difference. I can change something so we find success moving forward. That's just one thing that really stood out to me about that mentality and talking about that piece is the controllables, right? The uncontrollables,
Yeah.
we're in a game like baseball and sports in general, lots of things are out of our control. But the things that we can control, how do we really focus on that? How do we really amplify that to move forward and get the results you want? Now, I want to shift to another question here, Carter, is what are your three most important habits or routines that you do every single day to perform at your highest potential? Whether it's daily, whether it's weekly, what are three routines that allow you to reach that maximum potential and feel good about the process?
I mean, well, there's obviously the simple things that everybody says, like you got to stay hydrated and you got to sleep. I'm just going to be boring with my first two. But so in baseball, when we play 56 games this summer, and I'm going to play probably nearly 100 games again this year, the biggest thing for me to keep my body healthy is some days you have to go and get your mind distracted, whether it's going out and having fun with your buddies or going out to a lake and walking down a river. You need something to keep your mind at peace, basically, when you're playing every day. So something I like to do when I'm on the road, or even back in Indiana when I was in Terre Haute and it was getting to the end of the year, is I'd go for like adventure walks, basically what I called them. And it was just a walk to get down by a river or something, just to clear my mind. You know, I'm a big nature guy. I've always loved being outside, hunting and fish and everything. So just going out where I can clear my mind, reset, and I feel better after I go do that. I feel like I'm clear. I feel like I'm reset. And that's one thing that's really helped me is when we got off days here in the summer, it's going out and doing something that's like a reset, right? That's one thing that's really helps me. Um, and then another thing is I'm so big on keeping my body healthy where I like anything that's sore on my body, if I got a day off especially, that thing's getting I'm doing some research about it, or if I don't know, usually I know most things by now, but and I'm doing a workout focused on that to make me feel better in that area. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people get stuck in season. They think they don't need to work out anymore, or like it should be light. Especially in baseball where it's not a super duper physically demanding sport, like in the aspect of one game, it's not like hockey or basketball or soccer or wherever where you're running or skating all day. Is it's okay to be sore when you play, like a little bit of muscle soreness, um, because if you let yourself get weak, it's gonna eat up way faster than if you keep working out and are a little sore for the game. Like I even noticed it this year at school is we started slowing down on our grip strength training. We didn't do any deadlifts or RDLs or farmers carries or nothing. So there's no grip strength stuff in season. And all of a sudden I was starting to have hand problems from swinging and stuff. And I was pretty sure, looking back, it was just because we started slowing down our grip strength training. Um, uh, so keeping your body in good shape is what's super important to me. And then also the mental aspect of being able to go out and reset and keep clear. It's one thing I really like to do. And I guess I'll add one more thing to that. For younger kids, they don't have to deal with this yet, but once you go away to school, it's reconnecting with your family still, like setting aside time to talk to my younger siblings, my mom, my dad, and then my grandparents sometimes too. But sometimes you just need to, like, I feel bad being the oldest sibling, but I need to go talk to my little brother sometimes, my little sister, just see what's up, like, and that helps me clear my mind as well.
I really enjoy that, and a few different things that can help you stay consistent, help you stay motivated along your journey. And sometimes that's disconnecting from sports altogether. Like you said, getting out in nature, doing something with your friends and family, where I believe that builds up the passion even more and builds up that desire to continue playing and succeeding that at the level you're competing at. But it can be challenging where, just for example, when I competed at the collegiate level, I never knew what I was getting into. Where I think most high school athletes, and I'm sure you can probably relate to this as well, having the dream, the ambition, and the goals of, hey, I want to be a D1 college athlete, I want to make the professional level, but you don't realize how much more work is required. Where, for example, we only got 1 day off a week, and that was spent catching up on studying and practicing for, the next week, exams, everything there. But it almost felt like a job at a point. I never realized that,
Mm-hmm.
where I began to lose love for the game, and being able to show up every single day with that same fire, that same commitment that I had when I was younger, because this was my dream. And you have to find ways, whether it's mentally, of course, on the physical side as well, to persist, keep showing up, do what's required. But I believe a lot of athletes don't understand just how challenging it can be competing at those higher levels. So, like you're mentioning here, is having things to help you stay healthy, your mind's healthy, your body's healthy, and having that passion where a lot of the times it burns out for lots of individuals, and burnout's a big piece too, where you just lose love for everything. You don't want to do anything. And how does that have an effect on your mental health, how you feel about yourself, and reaching that next level if that's a goal of yours? But one of the last questions I wanted to ask you here on the podcast today, Carter, is if you could go back and tell your younger self one piece of advice, one thing that would have allowed you to perform at even a higher level and reach your highest potential, what would that be?
I don't know what my big one would be. I think maybe looking back before I went to college, I would have went to junior college. I mean, it's worked out well for me. I went to Division 1 my second year, but I think junior college could have been really interesting for me. Um, and then on the sides of things would be like you have to the quicker you can understand it, like trust the process of things is the better off you're gonna be. Because like in high school, not to like toot my own horn or anything here, but like I was just way better than 99% of the players here in Saskatchewan, right? And so I didn't have to worry about slumps, didn't have to worry about like, but once you get to a point, then you have to learn to trust the process because days are going to be bad, right? Like things are going to not go your way. You're going to have a day of BP, especially at college. They love to make you feel like crap after batting practice. Like it'll be some of the hardest batting practice you've ever taken. And it's trusting that like you're gonna fail. It's okay. Like as long as you feel like you're doing something, whether you think or not, that you're getting better, right? Like some days you're gonna go have batting practice off a machine and it's gonna be throwing the grossest combination you've ever seen, and you might get 6 barrels that day. But what you have to be able to realize is everybody else got 4 barrels or 5 barrels or six. Like it wasn't just you that struggled. Like that was supposed to be really hard. And it's to learn to do things that are really hard. Um, and I think I learned that all right, but I think I could have been better at it, understanding on how to overcome things that are really hard and being like, it's okay that it was really hard, you know?
And I really like that mentality. Real quick, though, I want to ask you, how did you handle that transition in that process of being the big fish in a small pond in your younger years and high school years where you succeeded? You found lots of success as an athlete. Clearly, you had the talent, but now you go to that bigger pond, right? You're competing against higher level athletes, like we mentioned. Every D1 ball player can hit well, they can throw well. How did you handle that transition? What was that like mentally for you personally?
Uh, it was like there was definitely a while in the fall when I got down here into Indiana where it was like figuring out I belong. I mean, I know that when I had my fall exit meeting with my coach, is that like my head coach is like, well, you're basically gonna play every day. Go out and show us what you got. Like, because it was still to a point where I was like trying to get my feet wet. I mean, I kind of had a tough fall. I didn't play very well. I was sick for like a month, basically, just not feeling myself. Um, uh, so it was a tough fall, and then finally understanding like, yes, I belong here. Like, let's go. Whatever. That was the biggest change for me is like finding the belief in that I belong and like I'm still a good player at this level. And one thing that's been good for me is I've always kind of had some like quiet confidence about me, or like, I mean, people in high school would call me cocky, but I'd always say I'm just saying what I've done. um, and I've always believed that I can be good. And I think that's what every high level athlete needs is they all have confidence. And what I say about all professional athletes is they're a little crazy, because you cannot be a professional athlete without being a little crazy, because the amount of stuff it takes, the amount of false belief it takes at times, the amount of work it takes at times, you have to be a little crazy. And that's one thing I argued with my uncles one time. I remember is I'm like, every single professional athlete is a little crazy, because I'm at a point where I understand what it takes to get there. Whether I get there or not, who knows? That's to be determined. But I'm at a point where I understand what it takes, and they're all crazy, because to do it, you have to be crazy.
100%. I definitely agree with you there. And what I like to say, at least my personal definition of success, and this can mean something different to everyone, but is having that optimistic delusion, like you're mentioning, that craziness of I'm going to succeed. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I will find a way. And then you multiply that by massive work ethic. That's where you achieve the success you want. So it's the combination of both, intertwining those together. But like you kind of mentioned, is just having the ability and the belief in yourself, that confidence that you're going to make something happen, right? You don't know when, you don't know where, you don't know how it's going to end up. And you can probably look back on your own journey and the trajectory of it where, wow, I didn't expect this to happen. I didn't think it would work out this way, but here I am, and correlating to that success. I also like to say, if you want to become the top 1% in everything, that means you need to be different than 99% of people. 99% of people will probably misunderstand you. They won't understand why you do what you do. They won't believe in you. Most of them won't care. And most will try pull you down to their level. Right? So
Yeah.
that's one thing. Becoming successful, you got to have what I call that optimistic and delusional mentality of I'm going to make this happen. No one else is coming to save me. It's on me, so I'm going to find a way. And that's the importance of having that mentality and mindset, right? You don't need anyone else. Of course, we all need support. We need a support system of others, whether it's teammates, friends, family, coaches, teachers, but being able to persist when no one else is clapping for you. And that's the most challenging piece, right? When you're in the darkness, you're in the shadows, you're in the gym late at night, right? I'm clapping for myself. I'm doing one more rep, and that's why I'm going to become successful. But I wanted to, finish off and leave it your way. If you had any other thoughts for the podcast, really enjoyed the conversation today. We went into a lot of good topics. But do you have any other thoughts or advice you wanted to leave for other athletes or individuals listening today?
My last piece of advice, one thing that I've always lived by, and it's been really big to me, is do what you believe in. So for me, that was playing multiple sports. Like, I played hockey till grade 12. I did not want to quit hockey. Like, I wanted to play both. Um, I wanted to go to Division II, and that's what I wanted to do, even though people were telling me I shouldn't. And then I wanted to transfer, even though people were telling me I shouldn't. Right? Like, it's always doing what you believe is best for you and trusting yourself 100%. You don't have to do everything the way it's supposed to be done to get the best results, in my opinion. If you do things the way you believe in, they will usually work out, because that means you're giving it all for yourself. That'd be the last thing I had to say.
I love it. I love it. I think that's a great way to end this podcast on a couple of those points there. But I want to thank you very much, Carter, for taking the time to join us on the podcast today, and say good luck the rest of the summer season, heading back down to college. Really enjoyed having you on, and excited to see you crush it along your journey.
Thank you. It was good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you enjoyed this episode and haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button, share it with a friend or teammate that can benefit, and we'll see you guys on the next one.